Dear comrades, my name is Ashok Raj. This is my pen name. I'm a Buddhist as well as a professing Muslim. You may feel surprised. How come a Muslim be a Buddhist? Buddhism is not a full-fledged, wholesome and all-embracing faith as Islam is. I believe in puritanical Buddhism and puritanical Islam. The puritanical Buddhism comprises of eightfold noble paths. These are a set of ethical rules and ethical ways. Buddhism is a way of life as Islam is, and these eightfold noble paths are part of Islam as are Prophet Moses' 10 Commandments, peace be upon him. Our ancestors were Buddhists who centuries ago embraced Islam to escape from the Brahmanical religious persecution. It should be remembered that Brahmins are the priestly caste who stands at the highest ladder of caste system that is prevalent in India. This is the reason we have named our channel as Jai Muhammad Jai Buddha. This title clearly suggests Indian Muslims' roots and identity. The title of our present lecture is The Non-Existent Leadership Among Afro-Americans and Among the Indian Muslims. You may want to know who the Afro-Americans are. Afro-Americans, as they are also known as American blacks. But the name Afro-Americans is most appropriate. These are the people who were brought from Africa to America forcibly by the white and Jewish slave traders during the 17th and 18th century. These Africans were made to work in American plantations under most oppressive and taxing conditions. This slave trade is known as North Atlantic Slave Trade. Afro-American population in 2000 was 36.2 millions. Now, in 2021, it stands around 46.6 millions. This makes 26% increase since 2000. In percentage-wise, they make 14% of overall US population. The population of India's Muslims make 14.5% of India's total population. The difference between these two groups of people is that India's Muslims are more severely oppressed, religiously persecuted than their Afro-American counterparts. Afro-Americans don't tolerate the killings and lynchings of a member of their community by American white police. They come out of their homes and stage violent protests, whereas Indian Muslims have been subdued and made passive to the extent that they can't even express their grievances openly. Expressing grievances is made into a crime in Brahmanical India, punishable by severe punishment to the extent of bulldozing the protesters' house by government officials. Soon we are going to tell you why Afro-Americans fail to produce leaders from among themselves. But we would like to make this appeal first. Dear audience, please subscribe to our channel by pressing the bell icon so that you can receive the notification whenever we upload a new video. Please also press the like button. Thank you. Afro-American community failed to produce socio-cultural leadership from among itself. As a farmer plows and prepares the field, so too a community needs to prepare an environment of socio-cultural revolution. Only from the fertile soil of socio-cultural revolution, a political revolution sprouts out. As Indian Muslims need to forge good relations and form alliances with indigenous people of India, so too our Afro-American brethren need to forge good relations and alliances with Hispanic communities and with liberal and leftist whites. Afro-Americans need to produce a good number of outspoken intellectual leaders, research scholars in the fields of social sciences and humanities, and also they need to produce business leaders. To save time, we don't want to discuss the long history of civil rights movement of Afro-American people. It is suffice to know that in 1965, Afro-Americans gained their civil rights. Soon after that, three of their most important leaders, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr., and the leader of Black Panthers Party got assassinated. This could be one of the reasons why good and able people from among the Afro-Americans failed to come forward to lead their people. These assassinations must have discouraged them. The other major reason is that Afro-American people felt more than satisfied after the success and the achievements of civil rights movement of 1965. Soon after that, they fell into a state of complacency and lethargy. Arnold Toynbee, Let me spell it out. Arnoldtoynbee. The famous British philosopher of history had once said, "Nothing fails like success." Afro-American people should have gone setting one goal after the other to claim their rightful place and rightful share in the economic and political sphere. Presently, the socio-political and economic state of Afro-American people is quite dismal. Afro-Americans are still discriminated against. Still, there is a lot of racial prejudice against them at workplace and in business. It is said racism is woven into America's social fabric, as is the case in India. Black neighborhoods are ridden with gang wars, drug trafficking, prostitution, buying unjust, immoral, exploitative state lottery and gambling, alcoholism, joblessness and homelessness is the mark of black neighborhoods. It is high time that Afro-American community produced strong cultural and motivational leaders. If migrant Hindus and Far Easterners can do well in education and business, why can't Afro-American youth? Afro-Americans can also learn from American Muslims as how they live cleaner, healthier and disciplined lives. Afro-American leaders and intellectuals should visit Islamic centers and open-door mosques and talk to the Muslim community leaders to learn from Muslim experience. Now, we turn our attention to Indian Muslims. Dear Muslims, please pay attention. We are not saying the leadership is dead among the Indian Muslims. We are not saying this. What we are saying is that after India's independence from the British rule in 1948, no Muslim leadership emerged from among the Indian Muslims. Only that thing dies which is born. How can something die which is not born? Please note, what we mean here is not Indian Muslims' failure in producing a charismatic leader or producing a political party. What we mean here is Indian Muslims' failure in establishing an effective broad-based socio-cultural movement in alliance with India's indigenous communities known as Bahujan Mool Nivasis and by excluding upper caste Aryans. The present so-called Muslim leadership deliberately failed in this regard. Here we are making a brief survey of India's three of the important socio-cultural movements in order to learn some important lessons from this example. We are presenting RSS, the Rashtriya Swayam Sevak Sangh, JIH, the Jamat Islami Hind, and the BAMCEF, BAMCEF. Our audience might not be aware of BAMCEF. BAMCEF is the acronym of the All India Backward and Minority Communities Employees Federation. BAMCEF, RSS and JIH, that is Jamaat Islami Hind, are Cadre-based organizations and socio-cultural movements. According to Merriam-Webster dictionary, the pronunciation is Cadre. The pronunciation according to Google is Cadre. The American pronunciation is Cadre. The standard definition of cadre, as generally understood, is a group of activists trained and indoctrinated in a particular ideology by the leaders of an organization and the movement. BAMCEF is a cadre-based organization and a socio-cultural movement aiming to change the socio-cultural and political system of India from Brahmarashtra to Ashoka Rashtra, from Ramarajya to Ashoka Rajya. As RSS stands for Brahmarashtra, BAMCEF stands for Ashoka Rashtra. Both these organizations are diametrically opposed to each other in their ideologies and in their aims and objectives. Late Mr. Kanshi Sahib had established this organization BAMCEF in 1971. We shall discuss in detail about BAMCEF in one of our future lectures. Let us emphasize once again all these three organizations, RSS, BAMCEF and JIH, are totally different in their organizational structure, ideological outlook and in their aims and objectives. RSS was established in 1925 by Maharashtrian Chitpavan Brahmins. Even today, Brahmins hold organization's high command and all the top positions. JIH was established in the early 1940s. Both these organizations, RSS and JIH, are intact even today. but the BAMCEF got broken into two organizations in 2021 due to its internal unsound organizational structure, faulty advisory, and decision-making mechanism. Let us understand the definition of ideology in the context of Brahmanism. Brahmanism or Brahmanvad is an ideology. Brahmanist or Brahmanvadi is an ideologue who upholds the ideology of Brahmanism. Here is the full definition of Brahmanism: beliefs, practices, social norms, and laws that form the basis of race and caste based religious, socio cultural, and political system. Similarly, socialism, capitalism, and fascism are also different kinds of ideologies. Presently, the most powerful and prevalent ideology is Brahmanism, and the most powerful group or groups of people who are controlling the religious, socio-cultural, political, and economic system of India are the Brahmanists. In comparison to Brahmanism, BAMCEF is weak. In fact, BAMCEF was gaining strength day by day, but suddenly it weakened itself, as we have mentioned the causes of its weakening earlier. As Jamat-e-Islami is concerned, it is not as massive and powerful as RSS is. Jamat-e-Islami Hind is intact to this day. It did not break up. What is the secret of its strength? I strongly recommend BAMCEF to learn from JIH's long experience and expertise.